I have a fair number of women who are single and they really are looking for a companion. They're trying to find someone who matches their needs, who matches their visions of life, and they want to find a guy they can do that with. Some of them have had a lot of frustration with dating apps. They'll go out with a guy, they feel like things are getting on well, and then all of a sudden either he won't show up or they start seeing little things that they're not happy with, which I talk about red flags and pink flags all the time. So I'm glad that they're open, that their eyes are open and they're aware of it. But you can be too critical of the other person too, and you can be too critical of yourself. Today, I want to talk to you about things that women do to themselves to basically make it so that their partner really can't stay or their partner doesn't want to stay. And I want to talk about these because I think women are unaware of how they're being perceived from a men's point of view. And I've talked to a lot of guys about things and reasons why they've ended relationships with women. And I've come up with a list, and on that list are the things I want to tell you today. The first one is you undervalue yourself. When a guy sees a woman undervaluing herself, and by that I mean never feeling good enough or saying you're sorry all the time, over apologizing, overdoing, over trying, they don't like it. They start feeling pressure on themselves, like they start feeling like they aren't enough for you. Because if you're overdoing so much, then it must be they're underdoing. Or if you're undervaluing yourself, there's something they're not doing that they should be helping pick you up. And because of them not understanding what it is and not being able to express that to you, it's easier for them to just end the relationship. When you overdo for them, a guy does not want to be smothered in somebody taking care of what they can take care of. I can't tell you the number of women who have told me he just needs mothering, he needs taking care of. I'm not sure about that. I think what you should do is talk to him first. If you ever start feeling like you need to take care of someone you're dating, okay, that's a pink flag, and it probably is a red one if I really sit down with you and watch you. But I'm not sure it's a red flag on the relationship. I think it's more of a pink or red flag for you. What is triggering you to make you feel like you need to take care of this person? Whatever that is, if you can sort that out, hopefully you won't carry that same maneuver into a relationship, because when you overdo for them, you start making a man feel like a failure, incompetent, and they don't like that. That's one of their main needs, to feel respected, to feel competent, to feel like they can care for you. And if you're working against that, the relationship, they won't stay with you. Thirdly, if you are looking for a man to complete you, I've heard from a lot of guys that when they're with a woman, the woman doesn't give them space. She's learned on TV or some kind of social media rhetoric that this person's going to complete her. That's a scary proposition for any guy. Most guys err on the side of needing more space, needing more time for themselves. And if you're there and you're somehow thinking, putting that pressure on him, on the relationship, that this is going to somehow round out your circle or make you a complete person, they're not going to stay. And this is something that you, once again, need to look at in therapy. So you've got a clear handle on it. You know what kind of responses trigger it, so you can have control over it. You withhold physical affection. Whenever you begin using physical affection as a weapon, you do passive aggressive response with anger, or instead of being direct, a guy usually won't stick around for that. They don't like to feel manipulated. They don't like feeling like you can't talk about what you need, that you instead choose to cry or withhold affection. It starts making them feel like you're playing games, and in a very real sense you are. This is something you should get a hold of, figure out where it comes from. Maybe you have a parent who does this and you're just repeating a dysfunctional pattern from your childhood. Better you get insight into that. You start practicing strategies so you won't do that when you're dating someone special. You don't ask men what they mean and you misinterpret. Listen to my video about miscommunication. Ask him questions. When he reacts or he says something that is offensive or makes you feel bad or makes you feel disrespected, call him on it. Men like women who tell them what they need, because men will tell you what they need. Most guys are direct, and most guys feel like they have the right to tell you what they need. Women, on the other hand, we've been socialized to be so nice, to be so go along with it, so kind, that we oftentimes misconstrue that with being honest. And what we'll do is we'll fall into a false honesty where we're no longer being direct with them, and therefore anything we're feeling, we hide it under fluff, what I call fluff. It's indirect messages. It drives men crazy. It actually is a mind game, and you'll end up ruining your communication or taking your communication in a direction that is derogatory for the relationship rather than empowering for it. You have unrealistic expectations. You can have a standard for what you want from your guy. You want a specific faith, a specific type of guy, a guy who's going to be a good dad, and you have a list of behaviors that includes whatever the expectations are. It's important you get those out on paper. And then you talk to your partner about those, about expectations, and you ask them, which of these do you feel is reasonable or unreasonable, and listen to what they say. That's an honest, good date. That's a date night talk. When you're getting honest and vulnerable, showing your list, and then listening for feedback about what they think about it, what they, when they evaluate it, do they feel you're being overly, unrealistic, or do they feel like those gel with them? You've got a person right away who's on the same page with you, or that isn't, and then you can decide if you want to pursue the relationship. You compare your relationship. When guys feel compared, they feel like they're not doing as well. It's a turn off, and they won't stick around in a relationship. Or they feel like you are manipulating or trying to change them. We talk about this all the time. Women network. Women know what would make you better. That's how our brains work. But along with that, there is a certain amount of acceptance. When a man feels accepted, he usually will rise. He'll get better with his behaviors. He'll probably get more in line with what you actually want or his potential. If he feels like you're trying to change him, like he's not good enough, he's going to go the opposite direction. Or you don't say what you mean. You're not being honest. And so that erodes trust. And men usually feel it more like you're telling them a story rather than the truth, that you aren't being real, and that means you're not being vulnerable. They're spilling their guts out. They're being vulnerable with you while you're kind of in the background keeping tabs, almost like their therapist. That will destroy a man's trust in you, and he will leave the relationship. If you see yourself doing in any of these, then go talk to a therapist or talk to someone that you rely on. Because the main thing is you need help to know what behavior's triggering it so you can shut it off, so you can start practicing a more healthy version of who you are authentically. Once you can do that, you're free from putting on a fake or a front. You'll be able to find a partner much easier who aligns with what you think most meaningful in life and who can go the distance with you in a relationship. If this video is helpful for you, please subscribe. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much.